All right. Hey, what's up, you guys? I hope you're joining in for this interview with FLYTE, and we are excited to be partnering with them. And we're going to bring on Pastor Ben to join us. So as soon as I get his request, we will bring him on, and let's get him rolling in here now. Here we go. All right, as we're waiting for Pastor Ben, I'm rocking my 610 shirt today. Ben, is this going to work?
Yeah. Yes. Can you hear me? Technology, we made it work.
All right, well, for all your FLYTE family, Ben, thank you for heading over to the RX page.
I can hear you, but just barely.
Okay, I'm going to put my headset in. We're not going to let this.
There we go. Okay, I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you.
All right.
Yes. If this is why it breaks, we know why.
That's right. All right, let's give this a go. Is that any better?
A little bit. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear?
Oh yeah, loud
Becky?
and clear. Do you want me to just yell?
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah, just use your outside voice, okay? I tell my kids often they got to use their inside voices. Use your outside voice, Becky.
I got it. Cool. We did it.
Yes, finally. Hey, thanks. Well, I was going to say thanks for jumping on our live feed. Maybe thanks for setting this up so we could jump on yours. This is great, though. I had tracked with you guys for a long time. And hear me that I'll kind of go back and forth as a representative of FLYTE, but then also as a follower of Jesus who knows what you guys do and has really loved seeing your people in action. I don't know if you know one of your coaches, Billy Shelton, is a friend of mine. I'm from Tennessee originally, and so
Okay. Cool.
I worked out with Billy and know Billy well, and so I've loved watching God use you and your ministry in incredible ways all around the country. And so we've moved all over the country. We moved from Tennessee to Orange County, California, and now we're in the Phoenix area. So you guys are taking over, and I love it. Tell me what was the impetus behind starting Faith RX?
Yeah, first of all, is the audio sound good before I start? Does that work?
I'm taking my headset out because I can't hear you at all, but I can hear you a little bit.
Okay, great. I was competing at the CrossFit Games starting back in 2011. I competed for 5 years at the Games. And when I entered the culture, I absolutely loved CrossFit. But having been a believer since I was in 7th grade and also on staff with Fellowship of Christian Athletes for many years, I realized that CrossFit builds incredible community, but it's not a great God, and it will fail us. And so as I was competing in the 2011 Games, and I looked around when we were in the tennis stadium at all the people in the stands, and I was also inspired by great competitors like Rich Froning and Chris Spieler, and these guys love the Lord and huddle up and pray together. And I thought, man, all these people looking at us competing, do they know the love of Christ? And if they don't know the Lord, then I want them to know the Lord. And my heart just broke for this community. And, you know, I've been an athlete, and athletics can become very much of an idol and is something I've dealt with throughout my life. And I just thought, man, I want everybody to be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. And so that's how I started networking with people, started sharing ideas. What if we did this? What if we had an athlete New Testament with stories of great athletes in it and used as a resource to share the love of Christ? And then it became, wow, well, what if we had training camps? And then what if we had chapters where people could come together in community and grow in their faith in an atmosphere that is non-threatening? You know, the statistic I've read is that 60% of people won't even ever go to a church. So let's mobilize our community to really love and share the love of Christ with our community within the walls of our gym, and then put that faith in action through service. And that is just very quick synopsis of how Faith RX got started. And we were founded on June 10th of 2013, and that's why I'm wearing our 6'10" strong shirt today, right? And
that's awesome.
I'm going to stop after I say this, but I'm so fired up about this 6'10" theme and being 6'10" strong. We had one of our co-founders on our monthly training call that we do for all of our chapter leaders every month. And he referenced Daniel 6:10, which I wasn't even aware of. And that's when Daniel gets on his knees 3 times a day to pray. And I was like, that's incredible. Like, true strength starts on our knees, and then it's lived out through Ephesians 6:10, which is be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Yeah. And then the ultimate desire of Faith RX is Matthew 6:10, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And that's our prayer. And so that's a very long-winded summary of how we got started.
I love that too, because in an age where, we feel like I don't have time to stop 3 times a day to pray. If I'm going to be stronger and faster and better, I need to push harder and do more and go more and, be, fill in the blank. I need to be more active on social media, or I need to be in the gym more, or I need to do something more. When really the example we see in Scripture is, instead of us being stronger, it's being in a posture of dependence and humility that really exemplifies true strength, and that helps build the kingdom, like you said in Matthew 6:10. I like that 6:10 theme that you guys have going. Hey, you brought up something I think is really important that, I've seen it in my life, you've seen it in your life, you've seen it in other people's lives, we see it all over the place, but it's the idea of an idol. I think maybe the scariest part of having an idol in our lives is that we don't see it. It may be easier to see in others, but it's really hard to see in ourselves. And I think anytime you push yourself to the limit, and you're in a really competitive industry, it's easy to make that an idol. Do you want to be vulnerable and tell us about a time that you noticed that in your life? Maybe you noticed it in the moment, or maybe it's kind of looking back, you saw it. What was the evidence of that, and how would you help us guard against something like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest shift in my life was when I really came to surrender my life to the Lord and saw that I was gaining a lot of significance from my athletics. And all it would take is one injury, and my whole identity would have been rocked. And I was actually having a conversation with my daughter the other day, and she wants to be an actress and a dancer. And I just said, you need to be able to look in the mirror and say, I love me for who God's created me to be and the unique talents he's given me, not because I'm a great this or a great that. And like you said, it really, what's interesting is true strength really does come out of a place of surrender and brokenness, which is so ironic, right? Yeah. But when I truly recommitted my life to the Lord as a sophomore in high school, I said, Lord, I give you all my talents, and I want to use them for your glory. And honestly, Ben, it's a daily surrender to choose whatever it is, whether we get worth from doing or from performance, right? Like, I still deal with that. I'm a doer by nature. I'm German blood to the core. And just saying, God, how do you want to lead my day? I want to be led, not driven. And that's a lesson that I've been taught in this last season of my life, is really submitting that list to the Lord every day.
Don't you wish you could just make that surrender once, and then it's like, this is not a battle you have to face every day? Wouldn't that be nice?
It'd be great, but then we wouldn't need a savior, I guess. I think he keeps us in a state of dependence, right?
That's very true.
Yeah.
So what do you do day in and day out to fight this good fight?
Yeah, getting time in the Word. And for me, my morning, I'm an early riser, so those mornings are precious. I've actually been following our athlete word of the day with Faith RX puts out. It's a daily reminder to read a chapter a day. And a lot of times I'll take that chapter, today was Psalm 37, and I'll go through a couple questions. And what does it say about God? What does it say about me? And how can I apply this today? And so our co-founder, Chip Pugh, who was also Rich Fronig's strength coach, he baptized Rich, but he's the guy who writes those for us. And so if people are interested, they can text at Win With Him to 81010 to get those. And, you know, as you know, you're a pastor, and having been a pastor at Saddleback, there's a lot of resources out there, including Right Now Media, which people can go on our website and get access for free to Right Now Media through FaithRx.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yep.
That's awesome. We use Right Now Media at my church too. So
it's so great. I just did the Crazy Love study with some girlfriends as well.
Careful, that one will wreck you.
Yeah, it kind of did. It was very convicting. It's very convicting.
So one more time, give me the number and the message that they would need to text, because I think that's a great resource that probably more people need to tap into.
Okay, and we can throw that up on our story after this as well. But it's text at Win With Him to 81010.
Okay.
And you know, the real emphasis is building those disciplines of the faith as athletes in the gym, and I don't even mean competing athletes. I mean, when you walk in that gym, you're an athlete, right? But an athlete becomes a competitor when they start to really dial in their nutrition and start to train. And it's the same thing with our faith. And that's the desire of FaithRx, is ultimately, as we become 6'10" strong and strong in the Lord, is that people will move along this progression from being a seeker to ultimately a coach and making disciples.
Give me a win. Share a story of a win that you've seen in the last few months. You can go back as long as you need, but
no.
How do you, as a leader of FaithRx, know that you as an organization, and maybe even you individually, are pointing in the right direction?
Yeah, thank you. The biggest win happened the biggest win of recent happened this last month. Our chapter director, Johnny Pedlow from our Belfast, Ireland chapter, had his kickoff event, and there were 40 people in attendance, and there were gym owners that hosted it, all of which, you know, didn't profess faith in Christ, and they each took home an Athlete New Testament with them. Loved the meeting that Johnny hosted. And then another guy, not one of those guys, but another guy texted Johnny after the meeting and said, "Hey, I recommitted my life to Christ that night." And so that is
That's awesome.
One of hundreds of examples of how God has used this ministry over the last 5 years. And I feel very privileged and humbled to be one of the leaders in it.
That's so great. How many chapters do you guys have at this point?
We have 83 chapters in 9 countries, and we're growing by about 21 chapters per year.
21 chapters a year. Did you envision this when you set out a few years back, that this is where God would take it?
You know, Jim's my husband, he was one of the co-founders as well, and we've never been numbers oriented. We just want to see his kingdom come, his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And so I never really thought like how big it could be. All I thought was, how can we resource and love and reach this community for Christ and put our faith in action through service. And we really do leave the results to the Lord. And that was always my motto as an athlete: do your best and leave the results to God. And so we're doing our best to keep up with his growth of his ministry.
That's so great. Hey, it looks like maybe one of your teammates is leaving comments while you're talking. So tell them thank you, because the things that you're referencing, they're putting those in the comments. So it's super helpful.
All right.
Here's my next question. So
yeah, for sure.
I love this idea of local huddles. How could somebody find those? And then maybe if there's not one in their area, how could they start one?
Yeah, if they want to resource our chapter map to see where the closest chapter is to them, they can go to faithrxd.org/chapters. And that has all of the great details on the website that they can find, and the contact info for any additional info is on there as well.
Cool. That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
And I like the multi-approach that you guys are taking. It's not just we're going to put out great content, but we're going to equip people locally. And we're going to equip them relationally. It's not just enough to say, here's great content, now just go apply it to your lives. It's how can we surround you with people that are going to help you walk along this journey? Because I know for me, interacting with great content is super helpful, but I need people in my lives that are going to help me walk towards Jesus day in and day out. Because like you said earlier, it's not a matter of just surrendering once. We have to do it every day. And to be honest with you, some days I do it really well, and some days I fall flat on my face, which is often how CrossFit is too. Some days I feel like in the gym I kill it, but many days, like yesterday, I feel like it killed.
I know.
There are a lot of parallels there, I'm sure.
Totally. And one of our friends, Quinn, he started Humbled Daily. I don't know if you've seen them, but their motto is humbled by the barbell, humbled by the cross. And,
I like that.
Yeah, it's
That's
so true.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's so great. Well, great to chat with you. Before you go, just wanted to say thanks for being a part of our family and adding tremendous value across the country. We are thrilled to be partnered with you. Most of this really does feel like a true partnership where we get to walk alongside each other, encourage one another, and be marveled at the work that God is doing in and through each other. So thanks for taking the time and the space. I know you're busy with all kinds of things, but the work you're doing matters, and we're glad to partner with you.
Yeah, and if I can just give a shout out to you guys as well, Ben, just love working with you and Alex. For those of you watching, FLYTE is a company committed to the same values and integrity that we share, and a commitment to the gospel. And we just sent to our allied affiliates a program talking about your wholesale program. And so if you are watching and there's a gym out there that currently would like to try your product, please email alex@flytesport.com. Is that correct, Ben?
That is correct.
His digits.
He'll serve you well.
And we also have a coupon code, FaithRX. We'll put it up on our story, that if people want to try out your product, which I absolutely love the protein, the whey protein that you guys put out. And I know you just launched some pretty CrossFit specific BCAAs, which is awesome. But you can use that coupon code for 15% off. So we're super stoked to be aligned with organizations like you guys that are committed to the same mission, and just know that we couldn't do what we're doing without you, as we are funded over 50% from individual donors and companies. So thank you so much.
That's great. We love walking alongside organizations that match who we are. And so it's been an easy partnership, and it's been a lot of fun working with you guys. And then on the product side, I love them too. I use the protein. Cool. It's about the cleanest protein I think I've ever taken. I love the way I feel after it. So very good. Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me have you. Since we had to switch to our channels. All right. I'm glad we finally got it to work, Becky.
Very cool. We'll do it again.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
See ya.
Bye-bye.